Manifestation works every time you understand this. So this was the difference of me sinking money into a process where I would get great opportunities and great leads, but I wasn't able to capitalize on them because I just had a lack of confidence, to then making $20,000 in a single month. So what is the thing that makes manifestation work every single time? It is understanding how to use and not let your thoughts control you. It means choosing which thoughts that you believe in. Because look at this. Imagine a negative thought to you is worth -1 point. Okay? If you believe this negative thought, it's -1 point. An affirmation you don't believe might be worth, let's say, 0.1. Okay? So this is why repetition matters. Because if you constantly have negative thoughts, and you believe these negative thoughts, let's say you have 10 thoughts, and that's minus 10 points, right? But you have affirmations that you slightly believe. Let's say you do 10 affirmations to counter each of these negative thoughts that you believe, but the affirmation, you don't really believe it, so it equals 1 point, right? Because 10 positive affirmations that you don't really believe, if it's 0.1, then that equals 1 point, right? But if you had mostly negative thoughts, 10 negative thoughts that you did believe, you're at -9, right? So you see how it can be very difficult to manifest if you're letting your thoughts control you. And so this is why repetition and affirmations really matter so much, because gradually these new positive thoughts will gain more weight the more you can get them ingrained into your subconscious, and the more you can just override the negative thoughts by just having such a high volume of positive thoughts. This like point system for thoughts, you start getting more into the positive side. But now let's say you have negative thoughts, but you just observe the negative thoughts without identifying with it. So the point for the negative thought that you didn't identify with could become 0, right? So you have a negative thought, you just observe it, just an observer, 0 points. So now what you're doing is you're just recognizing the old pattern, the old identity, rather than claiming it as a truth. And this is exactly what meditation trains you to do. It trains you to observe your thoughts without automatically following them, right? So detachment of your thoughts weakens the old identity. Detachment from negative patterns from your past and your thinking that you've been just ingrained with for so long. This is eliminating this old identity, and this is what's going to enable you to build a brand new identity that's going to help you manifest your reality. The repetition of your positive thoughts is what's going to strengthen this new reality, because your subconscious is just going to be constantly full of these new thoughts, right? That these new thoughts that are going to lead to new actions, new synchronicities, and just going to pull different types of occurrences into your life that is going to make your life. So you don't necessarily need to eliminate negative thoughts, because our brains will just spew all kinds of nonsense, but you just stop feeding the negative thoughts, okay? And so how do you do this with meditation? So when you're meditating, what I like to do is I just like to focus on my breath. So when I'm getting these random thoughts that are coming in, I just bring my awareness straight back to my breath, right? Breathing. Okay, random thought comes in, could be negative. Just focus on the breath again, and then just let it go. New thoughts come in, just bring attention away from those thoughts, back to the breath. then you get really good at doing this. So that way, when you get random thoughts that are just coming in, you can just completely detach them. I've been meditating for 10 years now, maybe longer, about 10 plus years. So this becomes something that you can eventually master. And even to this day, I still, like, when I'm meditating, during regular life, I will still get random thoughts that come into my brain, and I can detach from them because I've practiced meditation. I've practiced detaching. In one of my first ever tutorial videos of how to meditate, I basically explained meditation like this to help you understand it even better. So if you get a thought that comes into your brain while you're meditating, what you can do is you can just think of this thought as a string, and then kind of visualize cutting the string, and then it dissipates. Like that was a pretty good one for me when I was starting out. It would help me really to detach from my thoughts. So thoughts come in as a string, and then you just visualize cutting the string. So that way you don't just like put so much energy into these thoughts. You can just become the observer of it, because that's what we are. We're spiritual. We are souls within this physical body, but this physical body, this brain, will spew random stuff. It will spew random stuff, and it's called like the monkey mind, right? Because it yaps and yaps. It gives you all these random thoughts, even if you don't want them. It's spewing out thoughts, but you just don't have to identify with the thoughts. And that is how you become a master of your reality, when you can become the observer of certain thoughts and believe and bring energy to the thoughts that you do want to have. So comment on what assumption that you are working on. And I'm telling you, if you can learn to detach from your negative thoughts, this is how manifestation is going to happen for you, because it's very difficult for you to manifest all kinds of different things when your thought point system is always in a deficit, right? It's going to be really difficult to act boldly into the opportunities that you're going to be getting, right? So like when I had certain opportunities come my way and I wasn't able to just confidently seize those opportunities, take advantage of those opportunities, it's because I was in a deficit of my thought point system. I didn't fully believe in myself at that one point until I eventually did. Okay, so that is why it's super, super important to understand this as a foundation to your success of manifestation. Because if you can identify with the positive thoughts that you want to constantly have, the affirmations that you constantly are working on, then you can really bring that into your reality, because you will literally start doing the things that you're supposed to be doing. You will stop doing the things you're not supposed to be doing. You'll start recognizing different things that you should be, opportunities you should be seizing. Certain people, circumstances will come into your life, synchronicity will come into your life, because that is the energy that you are vibrating on. That is the frequency that you are vibrating on. So that's about it. Comment what assumptions, affirmations you are working on, and I'll see you next time. Peace. Oh, please keep your mind at ease. It's obvious.